In the summer of 1945, nearly 900 American sailors were floating alone in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. No radio call for help had reached anyone. No ship was coming. And in the water around them, sharks had already begun to circle. For the next 4 days, the United States Navy did not even know these men existed. This is the true story of the worst disaster at sea in US Navy history and the deadliest shark attack ever recorded on human beings. On July 16, 1945, a United States Navy heavy cruiser quietly left San Francisco Bay. Her name was the USS Indianapolis. Most of her own crew had no idea what she was carrying. Locked inside a heavily guarded compartment were components of Little Boy, the atomic bomb that, in just a few weeks, would be dropped on Hiroshima, bringing an end to the deadliest war in human history. The Indianapolis was a Portland-class heavy cruiser, commissioned in 1932. By 1945, she had served as the flagship of the US Fifth Fleet and had already survived a kamikaze attack off Okinawa earlier that year. In late July, she was given a new top-secret mission: carry the core components of the world's first atomic bomb to the island of Tinian in the Mariana Islands, where American B-29 bombers were stationed. Traveling at record speed, the Indianapolis completed the journey from San Francisco to Tinian in just 10 days. On July 26, 1945, she delivered her secret cargo successfully. 11 days later, the bomb she helped deliver would fall on Hiroshima. But the Indianapolis herself would never live to see that day. After completing her delivery, the ship was ordered to sail toward Leyte in the Philippines to prepare for the planned invasion of Japan. She was traveling alone, without any escort ship. That decision would prove catastrophic. Just after midnight, in the earliest hours of July 30th, 1945, the Indianapolis was cutting through calm water in the Philippine Sea. Most of the 1,195 men aboard were asleep or resting after their watch. Unknown to them, a Japanese submarine, the I-58, commanded by Lieutenant Commander Mochitsura Hashimoto, had spotted the silhouette of the cruiser against the moonlight. At 14 minutes past midnight, the I-58 fired a spread of 6 torpedoes. 2 of them struck the Indianapolis on her starboard side. The first blew away part of the bow. The second hit near a fuel tank and a powder magazine, triggering a massive explosion that tore through the middle of the ship. Within moments, the Indianapolis lost all power and radio communication. Fires spread rapidly, and the ship began taking on water, listing hard to one side. In just 12 minutes, the USS Indianapolis rolled over and sank beneath the waves. Of the 1,195 men aboard, approximately 300 went down with the ship. That left roughly 880 to 900 men in the open ocean, many without life jackets, some badly burned, others coated head to toe in thick fuel oil, floating hundreds of miles from the nearest land. And here is the part of this story that still shocks historians today. For nearly 4 days, no one came to rescue them, because no one on shore even knew the ship had sunk. Due to a combination of wartime secrecy, miscommunication, and a naval policy that did not require an automatic search when a warship failed to report in, the Indianapolis's failure to arrive at Leyte on schedule was never flagged as an emergency. That policy would be changed forever after this disaster. But for the men in the water, help was not coming, and they had no way of knowing it. The survivors clustered together, using whatever floated, life rafts, wooden debris, and their own life jackets to stay above the surface. But survival in the open Pacific was brutal. The tropical sun scorched their skin during the day. At night, the water turned freezing cold. Many men had no fresh water at all, and driven mad by thirst, some began drinking seawater, which caused hallucinations, delirium, and eventually death. In their delirium, some believed the ship had never truly sunk and dove downward, chasing imaginary fountains of fresh water they were convinced existed below the surface. And then came the sharks. Drawn by blood, the chaos of the sinking, and the vibrations of hundreds of men in the water, oceanic white-tip sharks began circling the survivors almost immediately. Over the following days, they attacked again and again. To this day, the sinking of the Indianapolis remains widely regarded as the deadliest shark attack event on humans ever recorded. Survivors later described watching men disappear beneath the surface in an instant and the water around them turning red. Men held onto each other, forming tight groups to look less vulnerable, trying to protect the wounded and the weak. But one by one, their numbers fell. Some died from their wounds. Some drowned from sheer exhaustion when they could no longer stay afloat. Others were simply never seen again. For nearly 4 days, the survivors clung to life with no rescue in sight. On August 2nd, 1945, a US Navy patrol bomber piloted by Lieutenant Wilbur Chuck Gwynn was on a routine anti-submarine flight. He was not searching for the Indianapolis. Nobody even knew she was missing. But Gwynn happened to spot a long oil slick on the ocean's surface, and flying lower to investigate, he saw dozens of men scattered across the water below. Gwynn immediately radioed for help and dropped a life raft and radio transmitter down to the survivors. Within hours, additional aircraft and ships raced toward the location. A seaplane piloted by Lieutenant Adrian Marks broke standard procedure and landed directly on the open ocean, an extremely dangerous maneuver to begin pulling survivors from the water before rescue ships could even arrive. Over the following hours and days, Navy ships combed the area, recovering as many survivors as they could find. But the ordeal had lasted so long that only a fraction of the men who went into the water that night were still alive to be pulled out. Of the 1,195 men aboard the USS Indianapolis, 879 lost their lives. Only 316 survived. It remains to this day the single greatest loss of life from one ship in the history of the United States Navy. In the aftermath, the ship's commanding officer, Captain Charles B. McVeigh III, one of the survivors, was court-martialed by the Navy. He was controversially charged with failing to steer the ship in a zigzag pattern to evade enemy submarines. Remarkably, the Japanese submarine commander Mochitsura Hashimoto was brought in to testify, and he stated plainly that zigzagging would have made no difference to his ability to sink the ship. Despite this, McVeigh was convicted, becoming the only US Navy captain in the entire war to be court-martialed for the loss of his ship in combat. Many survivors believed he had been unfairly made a scapegoat for a disaster caused largely by naval failures far beyond his control. McVeigh endured years of blame and hate mail from the families of the lost, and in 1968 he took his own life.